Hey everyone, it's Becca. I know I promised everybody some of Maw Maw's macaroni recipe, so I'm making about a half a pound of it now. So this is kind of a look and feel recipe. So I figured might as well videotape it while I'm doing it so you can kind of see what it looks like. We'll go through ingredients. So she always used thin spaghetti. So you can use regular spaghetti. You can use angel hair, but angel hair kind of breaks up a little bit more. So it's not that great. And then this is the cheese that you want, the Kraft Deli Deluxe. It's American. And it says like processed American cheese. The Kraft Singles is like cheese, American cheese product. That's what you want to stay away from because it doesn't melt as good and it doesn't get like as creamy. So just try to always find American cheese as opposed to American cheese product. Butter, lots and lots of butter. Usually for like a pound of pasta, you use about a bar of butter or so. Since I'm doing about a half a pound, I'm just doing one. 1 or 2 eggs, and then whole milk. So here's a whole milk. So that's the recipe. So first off, cook your spaghetti for the recipe. So here you go. This is what it looks like. Dump it in a container. Sorry, this video is looking kind of weird. Re-angle. Okay, so then what you do is you take your butter, you cut it in half, and then chop it up so you get these nice little pieces in here like this. And then what you do, I already started, what you do is you break it up and you just kind of start burrowing the butter in to the noodles. This is really what makes it nice and creamy, and you go for it. So you really can't overdo this part of it. So just break and burrow, break and burrow. This is kind of a thing. It depends on how deep your pasta is. So like my pasta isn't too deep because it's just me and Dominic eating this. So if it was deeper, like if you were doing a whole pound, you would definitely use a whole stick of butter. If you're doing 2 pounds, you do probably 2 sticks of butter. You got to make it a couple of times to really get the feel for it. And so, and if it was like full to the top, I'd be kind of making the rows of butter closer together so that you get more of that good buttery taste. So just kind of get in here like this. I already did 1 row before starting the video. I was like, hey, I've been wanting to videotape this so that everybody can see what I'm doing. And so then that's why I didn't do a row at the bottom. Hopefully you can still see here. Do like that. Okay, next up is the cheese. So as you can see, it just made up lovely American cheese in it, all of its orange glory. So just like the butter, what you do is you do the same thing. So you take it and you just burrow it in to the noodles. You want to do this when the noodles are fairly warm. I waited until after they finished steaming so I wouldn't burn my hands off. But the faster kind of you do it, kind of the more melty it gets. And you can just see, just kind of go for it. You want to save enough for the top because we all know that that's a signature. Put all the stuff on the top. I'm just going to keep going fast like this and keep going. So you just really want to incorporate the cheese, dig it all the way down in there. And this is where you're just going to have to do it 1 or 2 times to kind of figure out if you put enough cheese, if you didn't put enough cheese. Everyone in the family has a very different opinion on how much cheese to put. So that'll just be kind of based on how cheesy you personally like it. I also found that the longer you bake it, kind of the drier it gets. So some people liked kind of the more liquidy, kind of cheesy, melty consistency. Others really like that kind of very firm custard type consistency. So kind of just depends on what your preference is and how you like it. So here we go. Just digging, digging, digging. And almost done here. This one popped back out. Okay, so good. We got our butter. We got our cheese. This looks okay. I'm gonna just stick this all in, finish the sheet for good measure. Okay, so now we're almost done. So now here's like the kind of part, if it wasn't kind of obscure already, this is kind of the part too. We're gonna make the custard that goes on top of it, and this is really what kind of sets it. So if I were to guess, I would say it would be about a cup of milk. Start with maybe about that much. Y'all, I'm not doing this on purpose. This is how Maw Maw taught me. Of course, like I would ask her like, oh, is half a cup enough? And she's like, oh no, that's not nearly enough. I'd be like, okay, well, what about like a cup and a half? Oh no, that's way too much. So so I'm giving you as authentic of a reenactment as I can. So cracked an egg and about a cup of milk. Whole milk works best. You want to go crazy, you can try half and half. I mean, you know, kind of the sky's your limit. I've made it before with regular milk, like 2%, and it's worked fine. So crack an egg and about a cup of milk. That's about the ratio that you want to do. Whisk it up. And so you want it to kind of be a little bit more yellow than the milk is, because milk is white. So you want to be able to see the egg white or the egg yolk in there. So this is about, let me see if I can get the skim off. You can see it's like almost the same color as the noodle. That looks pretty good. And so just make sure the egg is really, really incorporated. And then what you're going to want to do is pour it in and make sure that it's about level with the noodles. So you don't want to necessarily drown the noodles in there, but you want to make sure that it's enough. And sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes I kind of poke it in, and this is kind of where you play here. So this is a little short on the egg custard. So I'm going to just try to put a little bit more milk in and see if I don't have to crack another egg. This is what she did to me, y'all. So this is the experience that we all get. All right, there we go. Okay, that's better. So you see it's just barely up to the sides of the container. You don't want it to flood the noodles because then it'll take forever to bake. Let me see if I can show you the level. No, I can't hear. Let me see if I can move it over. There we go. Okay, see, kind of like right at the noodle line. And then from there, last up is cover the top. And so you want to kind of go for it. I like to overlap just a little bit because who doesn't like this cheesy goodness? This is my favorite part, at least, is when it's like a good cheesy gooey crust on top. And I like it when it's not overly thick, like when it's nice and kind of, it holds its consistency but isn't dry. So here, I'm gonna do that. There we go. So 350 for about half an hour or so. Take a look at it. If it's not gooey enough for you, or if it's still a little loose, do it for another 10 minutes. If you like it, then pull it out and start eating. All right. Hope this was helpful. Love you guys.